Okay, I'm just going to get started. Thank you for coming. Have you guys used DrupalForge?
Yes.
You have? You haven't?
No.
All right, go for it. So go to DrupalForge.org and you can follow along. We have a cozy session here, so you can both follow along. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the slides here. And first of all, just a little background. It's a nonprofit and a free service of Ops Association. So the whole project itself is open source, and the company behind it is a nonprofit. So those are the two things, and then these are some of the folks behind it as well. So you might know some of that. So Will was here yesterday. He did an AI presentation. Darren from Florida. Luke, David is a friend of mine who's a lawyer, and Mike Canello is a trainer. So, and then you can join too. So, right, and then the gist of it was to kind of build to Simply Test Me was getting old. So there was a lot of people. Have you guys used Simply Test Me? Have you used it?
Not that I remember, but I've been away from Drupal for a while.
Okay. What about you?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you still use it?
It's been a while.
Yeah. So people used to use it, and then we heard from the community there was like, oh, it's kind of getting old and this and that. So this was something that actually Darren came to me and said, hey, can you create something like this to support developers? And the whole idea was behind this was to actually create a system that developers can sell support through and sell hosting through DrupalForge. So that's how it started. But it basically, you can compare it to Simply Test Me or DrupalPod, which allows you to spin up Drupal for contributions, which is built on top of GitPod, and GitPod, the free version, is going away. So now with DrupalForge, you can spin up Drupal anytime on any device, on any server. And then it also can replace any of the local dev environments, but on the cloud. So it does similar things to a local dev environment. Of course, it's not local, but you can do similar things with it on the cloud. So problems with local dev environment, it's difficult to onboard people that can purchase and ship laptops and set up environments and debug. You don't have that with the cloud dev environment. It's time consuming to set up and maintain. Sometimes these local dev environments break down. So on the cloud, it takes literally minutes to rebuild those things. Configuration drift between dev, test, stage, production environments. On the cloud, it's really easy to fix that. And this is, you see that often with local dev environments, is that it's different between developers, so that with cloud dev environments, it's very consistent, so you don't have it works on my machine, but that doesn't work on the machine. And then sharing and collaboration with local dev environments, it's difficult because you have to do a tunnel, and then you have to create a URL, and then share a URL. With the cloud dev environment, you just get a URL and you can share it. So it's very easy to do that. Scalability on local dev environments, you're limited to what's on your laptop or desktop. On cloud dev environment, you can spin up multiple dev environments, and you can scale as much as you want, and they auto pause, and you can go back to it. And security, if you're developing on your laptop, who knows who has access to it? And you have a cloud dev environment, you can actually have single sign-on, and you can control who has access to it, and you can do an audit trail of who's downloading what, who's uploading. Right. So I'll talk a little bit about cloud-based dev environments. There's nothing to install on your laptop. That's one of the biggest benefits. You can install anything online. Faster setup, no configuration, everything. I'll show you, we'll go through it. I'll show you what it comes with. Instant onboarding for your developers globally. There's nothing to build or rebuild. It's easy to share and collaborate. And if you want to do like parallel programming, you can invite folks and you can actually work in parallel. And there's no resource limitations, like we said. And we can increase the size of the containers as well. And it's cost effective because it can do auto scaling and it can auto pause as well. When something breaks, the biggest thing is if something breaks, it's not on your laptop. It's on the cloud dev environment. You can dispose of it and create it. So these are similar, I would imagine, to Acquia's Cloud IDE, right?
From the pure development. Yeah.
Is that how you guys market that as well?
Well, yeah. So there are definitely teams that love cloud IDEs because they're sort of like corporately provided laptops or whatever. So they can't even install like a VDEV or anything like that. So having something that's cloud-based, that's already connected to wherever the thing is hosted and all that stuff, out of the box for them is often a big win. So yeah, you can bring on new contributors and they're set up in seconds with all of the same software, all the same versions, all configured the same way as the rest of the team. So eliminating that like works on my desktop kind of thing. It solves a lot of problems for sure.
Yeah. And then is it in Acquia, are cloud dev environments tied to developers or are they tied to projects and applications?
So both. So cloud IDs, similar to DrupalForge, have their own environment so that as you make changes, you can see how those impact the application in real time. Once you commit those, you can push those either to like a demo stage environment, or you can also have what we call like cloud development environments, which are sort of like additional on-demand environments.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so on DrupalForge, on the back end, I'm just going to maximize this. Okay, so if you go to DrupalForge, you can spin up these things. There's a bunch of templates. I'm just going to switch to it so you can see it. Open up a new tab here. So there's a bunch of applications here, and we'll take a look, but these are all templates. And like a week ago or so, Martin contributed this template. This was it, right, Martin?
Yep.
Yeah, so Martin contributed this template, but a lot of templates come from different contributors. So the Experience Builder template is here. The local gov is from the folks in England, which is their government template. The city theme, this is spelled incorrectly. The city theme template is from the folks from Salsa Digital in Australia. The governor template is from another agency. So these are templates. A lot of them are contributed from different agencies and from different developers as well. So we have the OpenY. This is a trainer template. So Rod Martin uses DrupalForge to do his training. So he has his training template here. So you'll see a bunch of these templates, and then there's the AI template as well. So this is Drupal CMS with AI. So we'll use that. So go ahead, and then there's Drupal CMS and Drupal 11 as well. But if you guys are online, just go ahead and click into the Drupal AI template. And when we set this up, this was actually contributed by the AI team. And then Marcus from the AI team gave us a tour of all the features of this template. So he showed us how you set this up, what are the modules you can turn on, how do you use it, what are all the things you can do with it. So some of the things are not configured, but if you watch the video, then you can actually turn this on and you can follow along. Right? And this template comes with a $1 key pre-installed in it. So when you start it up, you don't even have to install your key on it. So I'm going to start this template up. So you guys can do that too on your laptops. I'm going to fire up this template. And you do express launch. And it should launch when the cluster is not impacted. It launches in a few seconds. If the cluster is impacted, then it takes a few minutes. So here the application launched in a couple of seconds. If I go to the application, there's your Drupal CMS with AI pre-installed on it. And then the login username and password are here. It's just admin and admin. So I'm going to log in. You get dropped right into your dashboard, and all the AI modules are installed, and the key is installed, and you get your chatbot right there, and the chatbot is live. So you can go into the chatbot, you can start talking to it. So you can say, what is Drupal CMS? Sometimes it takes a second or two to reload. Well, of course, it doesn't work now. So. Okay, so sometimes it takes a minute or two to reload the key and set up the stuff, but once it's up and running, you can start talking to it, and you can do everything you can do with the chatbot. And then if you watch the video, Marcus walks you through all the modules, how you can turn them on, how you can set it up, and so on. Right, and then this is timed, so you can increase. After this time, if you're not logged in, I'm actually logged in, so if you are logged in, then after this time, it pauses. If you're not logged in, the DrupalForge doesn't know who you are, so it just gets deleted. But if you are logged in, then you can actually extend this thing, and then you can keep extending it for up to 12 hours every session. And then it just pauses after that. And you can keep it paused for up to 12 days. No, you can keep it paused for up to 30 days. So then you can, and then what you can do is to see all your paused application, you can go to My Apps, and you'll see all your paused applications here.
So if you're logged in, you can keep the site going indefinitely, just like
For 30 days. Yeah, for 30 days.
For 30 days.
Yeah, and then it pauses. After this timer runs out, it pauses.
Right.
So that when you come back, you can, and I'll show you how to unpause it. But the other thing that's also included is a cloud dev environment. So I think Martin's seen this before, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the cloud dev environment, you can turn it on or off. If you turn it on, you can copy the password and turn it on, then paste the password in here. Have you used VS Code? I'm sorry, tell me your name again.
Me?
Yeah,
I'm John.
John. Have you used VS Code?
I just installed it earlier today.
Okay, very good. So this is a browser-based version of it. And you can open up the terminal, and in the terminal, so if you go in the terminal, it takes, if you type in Composer, for example, you go in the burger menu, and then you go into terminal, it's a new terminal. And it takes a minute or so to load up. But once it loads up, you can type in Composer, and you see the Composer is preloaded, and then if you type in Brush, you see the Brush is preloaded. So whatever development you want to do, you can do it here. And this is, I show this just to, I mean, this is a stupid demo, but I showed this just to show you that this is a live dev environment. So you can go into the index.php, for example, and you can just type in an interrupt. You can do PHP info. And so notice I just put in an interrupt here. I just typed in PHP info and dive. And I haven't saved it. I haven't committed this code. I can just go here to the Drupal site, and if I refresh it, I get my PHP info. So this is just like using a local dev environment, but on the cloud. And then if I come over here and I comment this out and go back and I refresh it.
So you don't even have to save your changes.
Right, every keystroke that you're making is saved out. Okay, so that's your cloud dev environment, and that's essentially that's the VS Code that's built into the browser. Hi. What's your name?
I'm Fritz.
What is it?
Fritz.
Fritz.
Yes.
I'm Sal. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So we're just going through this Drupal CMS AI install. And if you want to follow along, you can actually go to DrupalForge.org and go to Drupal AI template. Click on it, and then you start this template up, and that's what it is. So the positioning for DrupalForge is that it's a demo platform that you can also use for development and deployment. Okay. So you start with a demo, and then you can do your development in it if you want. And then once you've done your development, you can deploy your site to any hosting provider. So you can connect your VPS to it from AWS, from Lightsail, from any other hosting provider, and then you can deploy your site. Or we will have other hosting providers connected to DrupalForge. That's the plan, so that you can deploy directly to Pantheon or Acquia or Amazee, Bluehost, or whoever other providers there are. So, and then we did this already, and Fritz, this is just so you can actually follow along here and click on the app, express launch it. It takes about 5 seconds to launch the app, and then you can log into the app, chatbot works, AI keys pre-installed. You can extend the time. We covered all of this stuff, so I'm just going to review this one.
I've used DrupalForge, so
You
just
have?
demo a few things.
And then if you save it, again, to save it, you have to log in. The easiest way to log in is to use the Google sign.
Which is what I just did.
What's that?
Which is what I just did.
Yeah, yeah. Then it doesn't give you the, click on the email link. And then if you click on manage, so I'm going to click from here. I've got my VS Code here, but if I click on manage, this drops you into the dashboard. And this is the back end. This is called DevPal. This is the dashboard like Pantheon or Acquia's dashboard. Or other, there's plenty other dashboards like that. So this is that dashboard that allows you to manage your app from here as well. So you see the timer that's here as well. So you can extend the time from here. There's VS Code. We just opened VS Code from the other interface, but there's VS Code here. You can also turn on PHPMyAdmin. It's turned off by default because PHPAdmin is not very secure and it takes up a lot of resources. So you turn it off and keep it off by default. There's the activities tab that shows you who did what, because you can invite people on it. So if you have other collaborators, this keeps track of who's doing what on your site. There's backups. If you're a DrupalForge user, the automatic backups are turned off, but you can do manual backups. And if you do a manual backup, then you can download it, and then you can use it in your local dev environment as well. And if you do a manual backup, you can actually see your backups happening. Yeah.
What are you backing up?
You're backing up, when I did the backup, I can say, if I check all, I'm backing up the database, the files, and the source code.
Okay, but by default, it's just the database?
Yeah, by default, because generally your files are, for bigger sites, your files are on S3 or something, and the source code is on Git, which you don't have to back up. So, and then if you want, you can set up a webhook. And if you set up a webhook is if you're using a local dev environment, when you commit, or if you're using a Git repo, when you commit to a Git repo from your local dev environment, the cloud dev environment automatically gets updated with the web. The configuration tab lets you change the container size and allows you to also change the version of PHP. And you can, if you want to try it out, you can try out different versions of PHP or different versions of PHP with different extensions. And when you do that, you apply configuration, but that rebuilds your container, so the site does go down. And then you can enable or disable PHP. Attach custom domains here, and if you attach a custom domain, then the dashboard will go in and get a HTTPS certificate for you automatically. You get logs, so you can see your htaccess logs here, access and error logs, and you can add collaborators. So if you want to work with collaborators, you can you have to add them here in the top first as a maintainer or as a developer. And then if you add them as a developer, then they only get access to only the branches that you give them access to. And you have to give them access to security, you can, this is like the htaccess security. So So it's a web server level security. This is before the users even get to Drupal. So this is a one layer above Drupal. So you can lock your site at the web server level. And file permissions is this lets you, if you keep it on loose permission, it allows you to update your modules, add and update your modules from the Drupal admin UI. If you put it on strict permission, you can only use Composer to add and update your modules. So we used to have it on strict permissions because it's more secure, but then everybody used to complain, so put it on loose permissions. So once you've developed your site, now remember I talked about like this is a demo development and deployment platform. So once you've developed your site, right, you get 30 days. We're working on a way to extend it, so but we're going to charge people, so you can pay and you can extend it beyond 30 days. We don't have that yet. Right? So, but anytime during the 30 days, you can connect to a VPS. Right? So you can go get a VPS from DigitalOcean or from AWS, Lightsail, or any. Technically, it should work with any other VPS because all you need is an IP address, username, and private key. We only test it with DigitalOcean and AWS because we can't test it with everyone. So if you connect your VPS, then you can deploy your site from here, and we do the deployment for you. We containerize your site, we containerize your database, and we take your files, we deploy everything to your VPS. And then you get your own VPS, that can be your production site, and then it's up to you how you connect your domain to it. We recommend you use Cloudflare, your CDN, and for your domain, manage your domain and SSL to Cloudflare, and that's your server, basically, that's your production server. So, and then here, we're gonna have other options here, like Pantheon and Acquia and stuff like that, so that if you have an account with them, or if you want to get an account with them, you can click here, get an account with them, and then just deploy your site to those providers. And then danger zone here is to delete your site, but if you come back, so you can delete your site from here, or you can come back over here and you can click delete and delete your site from there. So that's a high-level overview of DrupalForge. One other thing I want to show you. To export the site, so you can click on, you can connect your VPS and you can export it to the VPS. The other interesting thing is you can connect multiple VPSs. So if you want to preserve an older version of your site and you want to deploy a newer version of your site to a different VPS, you can do that too. And then you can just change your DNS to point to a new version, and you still have your old version of the site. If there's a problem, you can switch back. And when you go to deploy the VPS the second time, or deploy your site to the VPS the second time, you get the option of deploying the code, the database, and the files, or you can select just the code. So you're not deploying the database and the files over again. So those things are built in. I don't have a VPS connector, but that's you can do that. Now the other thing that's coming up, this is not working 100%, but this is the other interesting thing that's coming up. So if you develop your site and you want to share it with someone, right? You can go over here and you can say export the site, and you can say, instead of exporting it to a VPS, you can say export it to a template. And then you can just type in your information and you can click export, and it actually creates a site or gives you a URL that you can share with other people. And that URL you can actually put on DrupalForge as well. And if you put it on DrupalForge, you can share it with the world. So it's kind of loosely coupled between DevPanel and DrupalForge. You can create templates, you can export it, and then you can share that URL, the exported URL, exported site to other people privately, or you can share it publicly. Does that make sense? And then there's a bunch of other stuff here that is mainly for enterprise users here. This is for type-based deployments. There's a secret manager here, VS Code extensions that are installed by default, member management, activity management, and then registry. You can use a custom registry and custom CI/CD provider. As DrupalForge user, you don't have to change any of that stuff. All right, so, okay, so back to the presentation. I'm just going to run through this. We talked about all of this stuff. You can look at all your applications from the My Apps menu. You can delete the application from there or from the danger zone. Oh, the other thing is, if you want to come to the dashboard and you can pause the site manually from here too. And if your site is paused, right, so you go over here, you go to My Apps, and you pick any site that's paused. You can say, take me to the workspace. And then you can say, unpause the site. You can just unpause the site from here. For this site, the timer ran out, and you can just unpause the site. So it takes about a minute or so to unpause the site, but that's how, when the site is paused, you can just come over here and unpause the site. So these are all my paused sites, and when the site is running, it shows you this. Now, so we looked at Drupal AI template. There's also, have you guys worked with Claude Code or Google Gemini CLI? Okay. So Claude Code and Gemini CLI, you can actually use to have them write modules, have them write themes, have them write single directory components, and you can actually have them write code, you can have them write documentation. But it's a little difficult to install. So we pre-installed it for you in this one. You do have to bring your own key, because it can get expensive. But if you launch this, you can install your key, and I think here, okay, there's also the Klein extension. Klein is a VS Code extension. They'll do programming for you. So it's your programming pal in VS Code. You can tell it to write code for you and write code for you. So that's built in, you can install that. And then this is Klein. And then Gemini is built in, and I think one of these things have Claude Code built in. Yeah, so Claude Code, you can connect Claude Code to it as well. Anyways, that's all about DrupalForge. If you create templates, you can share it with other people. I think that's the biggest thing. And then on the roadmap, we have you can sell your templates, you can sell hosting, and you can sell support. Those are things that are coming out. Questions?
So, and it's possible I'm just not understanding something you said before.
Yeah.
How would I pull everything to work with, like say, 30 days or something?
Yeah. So you would go over here, And you can go under backups. You can go under backups, run a manual backup, and just say download.
Okay.
And then it says, what do you want to download? Database, files, code. Just download those things.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if I download it, I just downloaded the database as a zip file.
This is very exciting.
Yeah.
I've been out of the Drupal world for a while now. Coming back, getting this laptop ready for development. Now
Yeah.
nowhere, ready for development. This is crazy stuff.
Yeah, you can get started with DrupalForge, and then on local, if you install DDEV or something, you can play with that. If you're, on the corporate side, there's Acquia, and they have Cloud IDE and stuff like that. That can get pricey. That's more on the enterprise side of the business. Any other questions?
So we're talking about we're talking about hosting, but like this is temporary hosting. So I'm thinking there's still an option.
Permanent hosting options are coming. So DrupalForge, we were gonna offer permanent hosting, but then we changed our mind. So we were like, we're just gonna partner up with other hosting providers.
Those Cloudflares are
Yeah,
recommended.
we can, Cloudflare is one, but there's also Pantheon, there's Acquia, there's Amazee, there's all these other providers there. We don't want to compete with them. So what we wanted to do is just partner with them and be able to just push environments to them.
And then like if I have a site running on Lightsail,
Right. So you could push to Lightsail as well. So if you create a VPS on Lightsail, connect it here, you could go into export your site, connect your VPS, your Lightsail VPS here. And then you get, as soon as you connect it, you get an export button. So
what is the
Lightsail.
best experience? What is the best vendor experience?
Right now, you can only send it to DigitalOcean or Lightsail. And I believe Lightsail is the easiest one.
So you
Or
would say that
DigitalOcean.
I'm not a
those two.
fan of Lightsail. I'm using Lightsail now.
DigitalOcean, yeah, DigitalOcean or Lightsail. What do you use normally?
I'm using Lightsail, but I tried to use DigitalOcean, and I gave them my preferred email, and they're saying that when I tried to log in and create a drop in DigitalOcean, it says this email is already in use. I'm like, well, I know that's my email. They're like, well, use a different email. I contacted customer service, and their solution was to use a different email. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to create a bunch of dummy emails just to use your service. That doesn't sound like a smart way of doing business, but that's what customer service told me to do. So I'm like, all right, let me try Lightsail, but it's not been the easiest experience.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm basically going back in time to just standing up my own Apache server.
Yeah.
Next, Nginx. And
The only two things we support right now are Lightsail and DigitalOcean. And
that's what I was hoping. I was like, maybe you guys just keep everything in DrupalForge and enjoy life.
Yeah. We might do that. Like we might have a one-click to Bluehost or something like that. Because a lot of people that use DrupalForge are developers and they want cheap hosting.